Hey, what's up guys? We're back again with the new evolution of my main deck in Clash Royale. It's a new meta, there's new balance changes, and my deck got a lot better. The previous version relied on Golden Knight dashing and crashing through a ton of units. But after the Golden Knight's dash range got a massive nerf, you can't play it without Tornado, so it doesn't work in my deck anymore. So we swapped our offense to full spam, adding the Skeleton King and Goblin Hut to spawn an endless amount of spam. Spear Goblins got a 10% range increase, and since you're spawning a ton of them in the Goblin Hut, you are going to get a lot of value. In the new meta where a lot of players are using the buffed Rascals and a lot of bait cards, this deck with Skeleton King and double small spells is absolutely thriving. If you don't have Skeleton King, use Royal Ghost or Mother Witch. It's time to rush through with our pigs, royally wreck some opponents, and assert dominance. Lots of love to everyone that's using creator code SirTag to make all the daily videos possible. We got a game against Emmy, and they're part of the Ghost Killers clan. We don't actually have a Royal Ghost or anything in our deck, but we do have the Skeleton King, who is a master of resurrection. So I wonder how he's going to treat the Skeleton King when he sees it. I'm going to go in for a Royal Recruits here just to be able to... Oh, wow. I was going to try to protect the King, but I guess that wasn't going to happen. Wait. Bomb Tower Musketeer. Oh, this is one of those decks that is just going to be extremely defensive. I think that the best way of playing against these type of decks is trying to bait out all their small spells and their Bomb Tower using your Royal Recruits. And then when the Bomb Tower is out of cycle, you can go in for your Royal Hogs and try to get as much damage as you can. Wow, the Recruits did a lot more damage than I thought. I'm going to pre-Barbarial in front of my tower because that is going to be our best way of cleaning up all the Goblins, hopefully. Wait, the Goblin didn't lock onto the Barbarian like it usually does. That's awful. 90% of the time, it locks onto the Barbarian, and I look at it and I'm like, hey, that's a successful defense. I don't know how that Goblin decided to be so sneaky and maneuver around. It is what it is. He's also going to have Fireball and Bomb Tower in the same deck, so not necessarily ideal for me at all. How are we going to steal some damage into this? I think genuinely, as I said before, we got to get that Bomb Tower out of cycle. So unfortunately, it did not get out of cycle there. I thought he was one card away. He was able to get it back down. It's a -1 trade every single time he goes in for a Bomb Tower into our Royal Hogs. But we were able to snap on that Musketeer quite quick with our Skeleton King. So genuinely, the best way of setting up offensive pushes with our deck is going for zappies in the back and then go for recruits at the river. If you go for recruits in the back, what that does is it enables your opponent to log or really be comfortable setting up a successful defense against you. But if you drop recruits at the river, you go for zappies in the back, and it's a 4 elixir commitment. It's not your entire elixir bank, and you can still defend things if your opponent goes and spams something at the river at the exact same time that you drop zappies in the back. But if you drop 7 elixir with the Royal Recruits, you don't really have the available elixir necessary to be able to defend your towers if your opponent decides to drop something at the river at that exact moment. Also, the Bomb Tower is out of cycle, so we're going to try to use our Royal Hogs. Expect him to go Goblins or something, and then arrows when he does. Yeah, he's going to go for a Fireball, so I can't even go in for that. As much as I wanted to, it just wasn't a good play. Oh, wait. That was super smart for him to go in for the Musketeer there. I was not expecting that at all. We're going to go for a Barbarial, and I think the Zappies will clean up the rest of the Goblins, so I don't have to dedicate too much elixir there. So again, we're going to try to bait out the Bomb Tower. That's exactly what happens. The Fly Machine locks onto the tower. Always drop your Fly Machine off to the left-hand side or the right-hand side away from the middle. If you drop it in the middle, then you're trying to like kill the Bomb Tower or kill the building so you can break through with the rest of your units. But if you're just trying to find damage, always drop your Fly Machine off to the side. That's how you maximize your damage potential. So we're going to go in for a Barbarian Barrel to clean up the rest of the Goblins. And I think we're okay here because the Musketeer did not lock onto our tower. We need to bait out the Bomb Tower, and that's exactly what's happening. So I think at this point in time, we continuously go in for the Fly Machine again off to the left, expect him to go Goblins. Probably pre-arrows on the Goblins. Okay, we did end up hitting the Goblins. That was super good. I wonder if the Fly Machine locks on the tower instead of the Musketeer. Let's go. I felt like an auctioneer when the Musketeer did not get locked on. That's great. So we're going to try to bait out another Fireball with our Zappies. Hopefully that's what happens. Even if he Fireballs that, it's not that big of a deal because then, you know, then our Fly Machine is going to have literally no answer for him. So that's kind of what we were hoping for, honestly. The biggest debate in the world, my dudes. So we're going to try to go in for another Skeleton King ability and then try to body block our Royal Hog so maybe we can get through with the Fly Machine. He's literally dropping his Bomb Tower in front of the tower at this point. That's how scared he is. We end up snapping on the Ice Spirit, and let's go. That's enough damage for us to win the game, right? Nope, never mind. Okay. I got so hyped up for a second. I was like, we got it. Easiest win ever against Fireball and Bomb Tower. But he's going to make me arrow him one more time. Dude, this guy just likes pain and suffering, I guess. Even though we're playing against someone with Bomb Tower and Fireball, as long as you play well and you use your Fly Machine and Skeleton Kings correctly, you can break through any defensive combo or building that your opponent tries to throw at you. Jumping into this game, we went in for a Goblin Hut. The dude responds with the Royal Ghost. Probably the best card to cycle at the start is the Goblin Hut because you protect both sides, and then you also get some nice chip damage on your opponent if they don't respond to the Spear Goblins. And if they do respond, then you can figure out what their deck is, and then you're able to be like, okay, do I want to go Royal Hogs? Or is there a chance our opponent has Mega Knight? Do I want to go in for Zappies in the back, or is our opponent going to go for a Balloon on me? Okay, so he's going to have Mother Witch. One of them going to be the most dreaded cards in this deck because if you play against Mother Witch and you've got Spirit Goblins or Rail Recruits, you're kind of feeding your opponent an endless amount of piggies. So we'll see what we can do here. Definitely going to be a Rail Hogs deck from our opponent as well. I think this is going to be fine because we can go for a Fly Machine to devastate his Fly Machine. And yeah, it's not that bad for me at all. So we'll see what he's going to be cooking. If he decides to go in for Rail Hogs on the left-hand side, I think that's going to be fine because I will be able to afford the Skeleton King in time. Meanwhile, I think the Zappies aren't immediately able to lock onto the Fly Machine, so he's got to go for a Fisherman to protect it. Okay, great. That's 3 elixir down the drain. That means he's not going to go for Royal Hogs for a fat minute. So maybe we can go in for Royal Hogs of our own, because if you look at his deck, right, he's got like arrows and Royal Ghosts as his main sources of splash damage, which aren't that good against pigs at all. So lots of damage on lock for us. We're currently up 1,000 damage right now, so that's pretty good. I could go in for a Zappy Surround on the Royal Ghost, and then I can save my Skeleton King for him going in for his Royal Hogs. Generally, when you identify your opponent's deck, you want to save your answers to their win condition. So, yeah, I just knew that he was going to be running the Royal Hogs, Mother Witch, Giant Skeleton deck because it's such a common deck in Clash Royale. And once you've seen it enough, you just see a couple cards and you're like, okay, I know what it is. I'm not going to get screwed by you spamming your Royal Hogs and me not having my counter in hand. We're going to go for a Fly Machine slightly positioned off to the right-hand side, so we'll lock onto the tower there. And I think I'm going to go and bop my Skeleton King ability, so then we're going to be able to bop all those Zappies too. That's pretty cool. Nice. So Zappies just don't have long range at all. The Fly Machine is able to shoot faster than the tower as well, if you guys didn't know. So even if the Fly Machine is literally at like 1 HP, it will still hit the tower for some nice damage. He's going to go for Mother Witch, so we want to go for Rail Hogs to make a prediction. Did not work. I was hoping he'd go in for Mother Witch, and then the Rail Hogs would tank for the Mother Witch, and then the Spirit Goblins would kill the Mother Witch. He ended up going in for Fisherman and Royal Ghost because I guess he got freaked out, and he's like, well, I don't really want to deal with that today, Jake. Okay, so can I go Recruits? I think Recruits are going to be our best bet because it is also able to stifle his Giant Skeleton. And notice how one of the Spirit Goblins is locked onto the Flying Machine. That is huge value for me. Finishing off that Flying Machine will be the difference between life and death. If the Flying Machine survives, then you're not going to survive because it will lock onto the tower and it racks up thousands of damage at times. So we're going to go in for a Barbarian Barrel to finish off the Mother Witch, and then I think I can go in for Royal Hogs and just bombard him here. I don't think that there's any way for him to stop the Royal Hogs if we go in for nice arrows and then Skeleton King ability, because all I need is like 200 damage, and that is guaranteed to happen. So yeah, we let the Royal Ghost roll on the right-hand side because it simply didn't matter. He had to play catch-up, and there was no way he was going to clobber 3,000 damage on my tower. Yo, this guy finished 379 in the world. Let's get it. He's literally got I am pro in his name. It's also really small text, so I'm surprised I was able to read that. Jeez, dude, you're going to Love Hound in the back first play? Is that really what pros do? I mean, it makes sense if you have the right card cycle and you can assess what my deck is, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can go for Royal Hogs with the next wave of the Spear Goblin so we can force out some extra elixir from our opponent, and he's immediately going to balloon me. So this is not going well, my guys. I need the Zappies to lock onto all of his stuff. I'm also going to arrow relatively early so then the bomber doesn't finish everything off. Yo, no way. He got that into range with the bomber that he was able to annihilate the rest of my units using the snowball to finish off my Zappies. That was extremely well played on our opponent's end. But there's one Spear Goblin staying alive so the balloon can't thrive and finish off my 3 crown, right? Imagine that was still alive and clobbering my tower for 2 birthday bashes. That could have been tragic for me. I'm going to Recruits at the river since I think I am up a bit of elixir, and then I can also go for a Fly Machine to finish off the minions. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I want the Fly Machine to give us extra value. Okay, the Recruits on the left are going to pound the tower, and the Inferno Dragon is not that big of a nuisance, because both towers should be able to focus that first. So, what do we do here? Do I go in for Royal Hogs on one side to get shut down by a bomber? I don't know. I guess if the bomber goes towards the other tower, towards my 3 crown, I think it's worth it. Bomber me, dude. What are you doing? Oh, Skeleton Army. That makes a lot of sense as well. You know what? That's not that bad. It's not like you can really counter push with it towards the tower that he wants. Also, we can suck up all the souls with our Skeleton King, and he doesn't have Inferno Dragon in cycle because he used that to kill our Fly Machine. We know that he's got Bomber in cycle and no Inferno Dragon. He's also going to have Snowball on his deck. I wonder what other spells he's got, because we've only really seen Snowball so far. I'm going to go and split my Zappy, so if he gets the cycle back to an Inferno Dragon, we'll still be able to have one of the Zappies with the Skeleton King. I'm going to go and pop the Skeleton King ability right now. He's going to go for a Bomber, so I should be able to shut it down with the Barb Barrel. I should have been a lot faster on that end. Wait, the Zappy is still alive with 1 skeleton. I don't think that's going to do much, but, you know, one could hope. All right, we're going to go for a really high Goblin Hut. That was a fantastic play from our opponent. Going in for the pre-snowball as well. Wow, this guy is just at a different level. Like, the gameplay that he is shown right now is in crazy, crazy level. So we're going to go in for arrows here. I should be able to hit the rest of all the pups and the bomber, so that's good. I'm going to go and split up the Royal Hogs here, and then we'll see what we can do if I go in for a fly machine on the balloon. Because if the Royal Hogs are able to force out a skeleton army, maybe we're able to go in for a Skeleton King afterward. Such a good... No, it wasn't a good snowball. He missed the fly machine. Okay? There's actually a chance that we can do the dance, guys. There's literally a chance that we can do the dance. All I need is a Skeleton King ability on the tower. All I need is a Skeleton King ability on the tower. Whoa, we got it. Oh my gosh, please give me the win. Please give me the win. I need to go Royal Hogs right now with the fly machine still alive. I can make this happen. If I'm lucky, I can win. If I'm lucky, I can win. Please let it happen. Let me beat someone so much better than me, please. All right, we gotta go zappies in the middle. It's literally our only way of stopping this, and I gotta go for a really high goblin hut. And unfortunately, I don't know if I can kill the bomber. That stupid bomber, man. Oh my goodness, kill it. Stop it. Stop it. Tower, don't die. All right, wait. If we go in for arrows and we are able to hit like a skeleton army and also minions, we might be able to win. I don't know if he's gonna drop the skeleton army afterward. I think he does. No, he just outplayed me in one. Dude, he's going to arrow me and snowball. Jeez. Oh, it's at 1 HP. Oh my gosh. Please stop it. No, minions are going to hit me. Stop. Quite possibly one of the most fun games I've ever played in Clash Royale, and that's even when I lost. Super fun stuff, and I was almost able to beat someone at the top of the world. Just for comparison, I'm a rank 1,000 to 2,000 in the world player, and that guy was a top 379 in the world player. So having those type of skill levels in a close game shows how strong my deck is. Let's jump on to the next one and bounce back. We got a game against Salvador, and we have the best starting play possible. Let's go, Goblin Hut. So green light go, spear goblins give us the damage. Not really going to give us any value. Going straight headfirst into a magic archer, burning them down. Whenever we see magic archer, wait. I was going to say P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam, but this is definitely not P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam. This is a bomber musketeer magic archer deck. How many ranged cards can you fit into a deck, man? You're a mastermind out here. The spear goblins will give us some nice cheeky chip damage if he doesn't respond. He's going to go Tesla. Oh, this has to be Expo. This has to be Expo or some weird randomized deck that I have no idea. So I'm going to go in for a Skeleton King in the back. And if we're playing against Expo, it's extremely important for us to keep our recruits because it's able to give us a lot of bodies on the map. So the Expo can never break through the recruits. That's one of the reasons that I love this deck so much. It hard counters Expo. Makes them so salty, and then you take their tears and you just slurp them up. So this guy is going to go in for a Mega Knight. Wait, what? Seriously? Why is this a thing? Every single time you think it's something and it's not, and then it just have a random Mega Knight. This is mid-ladder at its finest. I'm ready for it, man. He's got Bomber and Mega Knight in the same deck. This is actually a pretty miserable matchup for me. And we are down in the depths of despair, down to 1,500 health. So we have a lot to bounce back from here. I wonder if we can make it happen. Obviously, playing against Bomber and also Magic Archer and then Mega Knight, there's a lot of splash damage to kill our pigs. I don't think we're able to finish off that Magic Archer anytime soon either, so I have to respond to that since it's going towards our lower HP tower. Red alert, man. That Magic Archer is ready to do some big damage. We got to go for Skeleton King to go and bounce that off. Fortunately, we were able to one-tap it with the help of our tower. And if I go Royal Hogs, he's probably not back to Mega Knight. I don't know, though. He's got Tesla, too. How do you have Tesla, Mega Knight, and Bomber in the same deck? Seriously, this guy's crazy. All right, so we're going to go for Goblin Hut. Hopefully, the Spear Goblins can take the Mega Knight jump. So then, oh, it's still going to hit the hut. That's awful. He even has poison for splash damage, too. Fortunately, it's not Fireball, you know? I really thought he'd have Fireball in this deck just looking at it. All right, so we can go for Royal Hogs right now, and he's not going to have Bomber, and he's not going to have Mega Knight in cycle, so he's going to have to go for, like, Musketeer and Magic Archer. It's not going to counter push in the side that he wants. This game is going to be a freaking odyssey to find any tower damage for us. Fortunately for us, we can go for Zappies to go and stun his piggies, and then also with the Skeleton King, they take up a lot of space. The piggies are really struggling to find their way onto the tower. We can go for Rare Recruits, probably space most of them out on the left-hand side. It doesn't matter if the Musketeer locks on a tower. I think he's going to go Mega Knight, so I want to go in for the Skeleton King ability on the Mega Knight. Oh my gosh, wait. He's ignoring the Skeleton King! Does he think he can mirror up the Mega Knight or something? I'm so confused right now. You know what, to be fair, even if he had Mega Knighted on top of the Skeleton King ability kills an entire Mega Knight on your opponent's side of the map if it's at full bar. I was really hoping for that to happen, so I could show you the destructive firepower that the 2 Elixir ability unleashes, but it was also pretty funny stealing the game right then and there. Usually, if you play against a mid-ladder circus with Mega Knight, Bomber, and cards that are seemingly impossible to break through, you just have to stay patient, prioritize defending, and capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. And because you have Skeleton King and Fly Machine, you have multiple ways of stealing the game back as soon as your opponent makes one single slip-up. Let's get it. So this guy's gonna have a lumberjack in his banner. Let's see how feisty and ferocious he actually is. So I'm just gonna go for our zappies here in the back and start splitting them at the start, because a lot of times our deck is really good in single elixir where we can overwhelm our opponents, since we have a lot of value with our zappies, our royal recruits, and royal hogs. Whenever our opponent overcommits to one side, we dive in the other side and take their tower. So we're gonna go royal recruits at the river. I usually don't do this, but because our opponent decided to go and drop tombstone and not really drop that in the middle, we know for a fact that he has to overcommit in the right-hand side to be able to defend that, or get lucky with a really aggressive splash damage card like Valkyrie and be able to swindle all of our recruits pretty easily for a good elixir trade, which doesn't really happen very often, but the Valkyrie is one of the few cards that can hit on all sides of herself, so good card for him in this matchup. I think that we're probably playing against a graveyard player. If we waited till later stage of the game, this matchup would become really, really bad for me, because he would always be able to go in for more graveyards directly onto our tower and be able to afford them more rapidly in double and triple elixir. Whereas when we've got cards that want to break through, we want to capitalize on this elixir being low in single elixir. So this matchup is really good for us in single, and it gets progressively worse as the game starts to escalate. But I love Skeleton King in this matchup, so I think that will give us a bit of a benefit here. I want to go in for Goblin Huts on the left-hand side just because I want to be able to bait out his Valkyrie, Ice Wizard, or Baby Dragon there. So then he's not able to stack up as much splash damage on the right-hand side where we already have all of our damage. Also, giving us even damage on both sides will give us an opportunity of maybe switching up the sides. You don't necessarily want to go same side as your opponent that's running a graveyard deck. Generally, you kind of want to go opposite lane of them so then they can't get counterpushed with whatever units they're defending. So we'll see what happens here. I think it's probably better for me to go in for royal recruits in the back and then just stack up a lot of stuff using our 3-card cycle with our Skeleton King. So a lot of people don't necessarily do this very effectively, but in the later stages of the game, you want to go and cycle your Skeleton King in the back. Then you can't cycle another Skeleton King, so it gets you back to whatever cards you're dropping a little bit faster within 3 cards instead of the traditional 4. So what I can do is I can go for a Fly Machine here. Remember, he doesn't have Phoenix. He's only going to have Baby Dragon. So Baby Dragon doesn't do enough damage to go and stop our Fly Machine immediately. I think he might even drop it in the middle to go and lock directly on that. No, he's going to drop it off to the side. Huh. Interesting. You know what? I can go for the Skeleton King ability, arrows on top of the tombstone, and then have the Fly Machine probably lock onto the Baby Dragon. So, oh, it hit the bar barrel. Why? No, that's awful. That's exactly what we didn't want to see, my dudes. It's fine, though. I mean, we've got Barb Barrel here. The Baby Dragon's locking onto our tower, which isn't good. So this is probably one of the worst possible situations, all things considered, right? We're playing against a graveyard player. We've hit the later stages of the game. Not necessarily a vibe. But we'll see if we can still make it happen. I'm going to go in for a Fly Machine here. I'm going to try to go and snipe his Ice Wizard. Maybe go for a Skeleton King ability directly on his tower if I'm feeling good about myself here. Baby Dragon is going to be able to die here. I'm going to go and click the Skeleton King ability after he tornadoes. And it's going to tank for the Fly Machine, so maybe we can get some extra value. Let's go, baby! The Fly Machine is still staying alive at 1 HP. Then we can go for Royal Hogs, so the Fly Machine still stays alive. That Fly Machine is never going to die! Oh my gosh. See why Flying Machine is an alternative win condition in this deck? It literally took out its entire freaking tower. That's crazy. So we know he's going to go for a graveyard, so we're going to stop his Baby Dragon from crossing the river. We're going to go for a Barb Barrel here, so we can clean up the skeletons and have our Princess Tower primarily target the graveyard skeletons instead of anything else. I'm going to click the Skeleton King ability on the right-hand side, so he has to, drop Elixir on top of that, or he's going to lose his tower. I mean, this is just one of those situations where I'm trying to keep his Elixir low, so we can constantly be on the offense. Because we baited out his Valkyrie. Now he doesn't have the Valkyrie for the Royal Hogs, and I think we can go for aggressive arrows here. Even if the Royal Hogs don't take out the tower right now, we should be able to go in for one more arrows and then seal his fate. I don't know if this is going to work out, but I'm hoping it does. I'm going to go for another Fly Machine here as well. We are going to be able to go and clap the rest of the Baby Dragon, and I wonder, Fly Machine plus Royal Hogs, can we put the nail in this man's coffin? Can we take him to town and add another skeleton to his graveyard? The answer is a resounding yes, because that Fly Machine sealed our success. So if you guys had any questions about the power of Royal Hogs, Royal Recruits, even into splash damage like Valkyrie and Baby Dragon, the Fly Machine is the answer to all of your problems. Like, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an incredible rest of your day.